God.
4 o'clock, call to order the Board of Education Facilities Committee meeting, which is a special meeting. We can all do Mr.
Yeah.
Pro Tem. Do we have to have a Pro Tem?
I move that we, what? I thought roll call, those one?
Roll call.
Yep.
But who's going to be Treasurer Pro Tem, I guess, I'm asking. Do we need one of those? We should at all
Yeah,
meetings.
I can do it.
Okay, I am motion to make John the temporary Treasurer Pro Tem. My motion, do you second?
Second.
Vote, roll call?
Yeah,
Aye. We'll do roll call. John?
Kathy Walsh.
Kathy Walsh. Here.
John Kirshner.
Pledge of allegiance. Yep. Pledge
I
of
pledge
allegiance.
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We the facility. Yeah, I saw that. Okay, yeah, we're gonna get, I'm gonna fix that when we get to, the adoption of agenda, which is now.
Adoption of the meeting.
Yep. I move that we correct the meeting, accept the minutes, but correct the title. Change that from commission to committee.
Yes, and facility. Singular.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Second your motion.
All right.
Aye.
Any further discussion? Okay.
Okay.
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
And there was a facility matters that, we'll move on to that, but Paul brought up, he wanted to meet with a couple board members, and, so that's why we're having this meeting, and, yeah.
You're up, sir.
Okay,
We have
I,
these things right here.
right here on the agenda,
Yeah,
correct?
yeah,
Okay, I have Mr. Kreutz here, and he, since we don't have anybody here that really is involved in this day to day, such as our business and operations director, superintendent, treasurer, Mr. Kreutz is fully capable and has all the information. You can see he has stacks of information there. First, we want to talk about the roof repair, Mr. Kreutz. Can you talk about where we are right now on the roof repair?
Yes, the safety, all the stuff that goes along with being on the roof is going to happen on Wednesday. The work will proceed after that. We are waiting on a signed contract. The work will progress this week.
signing or signed contract?
Signed contract back from the roofer.
Oh, we're waiting for that, sorry, thank you. for
So we
clarifying.
signed our end and we're waiting for their signature. Great. How do you spell your last name?
Kreutz.
Thank you. All righty.
And you said Wednesdays, we're waiting on the signed contract, but Wednesdays,
Wednesday's safety, and then you don't know the start date on the roof itself yet.
Well, it'll proceed after all the safety stuff. They have different parameters they have to put up, but yeah.
Gotcha. All right.
Can you refresh my memory who the company is? Yeah, Progressive, right? Yeah.
Progressive Roofing. All right.
And we got the radon testing results. I think you had talked about that in your letter, Paul.
yeah, so, Mr. Kreutz has been great. We did the radon testing over the long weekends. We just recently received our results back. We're working on communication with everybody about those results.
Do you have this?
Yes,
So some of the ones that we just completed are only drafts, so they're initial. The company is Gandy and Associates have printed out are just drafts, but the absolute ones, they get sent out for a third party to actually, put everything together, so. that-
What were the levels? Were they different?
Yeah, they're different in different, areas. For instance, Groveport Elementary, Central, Glendenning, and South, they're all clear. There was 2 rooms at Glendenning, but we have since retested and they dropped below, so that we can take an average. So those are all done. The ones that we're going to have problems with are, as you know, Dunlow already, but Madison, Asbury, and Sedalia. Sedalia is not as bad as the other 2.
What are their levels?
Madison and Asbury were very close to levels as was Dunlow. So you have some 20s and 30s. Sedalia is basically, they have 2 that are in the 8s, and most of the rest are all 4, 5s, and 6s. And it's only about half of that building, a little over half, let's say. Nothing in the mod was clear.
Okay. What are your thoughts about, rather than just sucking air out with fans, or improvements to the overall airflow and HVAC?
So, I believe that question came up at Dunlow, and we looked at that. It wasn't an easy fix, just because of the systems that we had in place. So it would have been much, much more costly than just doing the mitigation. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know how far that went. They looked into that, but.
We haven't done like an efficiency model, like a payback, if we went to like higher efficiency and higher air volume or anything like that.
Well, it hasn't, so the units that are put in right now, the single classroom and hallway units in those 3 schools are single units, and they were the most efficient at the time.
You're talking about mitigation, or you're talking?
No, I'm talking about the
HVAC?
HVAC, the UAVs. And the problem with them is the more outside air you introduce into them, the less effective they are to heat.
Right. Okay.
So that's part of where our hands are tied as far as
But
what we can do.
from what I understand, if you can create greater fulfilling envelope pressure, that also helps with radon.
Yes and no, but you lose that pressure every time the door's open.
Yeah.
So it's not the best way to fix it.
So you said some of them were under 8. Are we gonna like just do retesting on them a little bit later?
So-
since they're under that threshold.
Retesting is, it is going to happen. We do not have a date on that yet. We do have, the proposal for, the asbestos, because with the ones over 8, obviously we can't retest and get them under 4.
Right.
Because we have to have a 0, and then we're still above 8. So we went to the next step, which is to do your asbestos sampling. And then we know,
You're doing the asbestos with the radon, right?
yes,
Okay.
yeah, it will be tested again.
I didn't know that was a thing. Okay. When was our last asbestos testing?
So, the asbestos test will be for the sampling of the materials that we have to go through when we do the radon mitigation.
Oh,
The same is done.
I got
Okay.
it. I understand now.
It's kind of overlapping. I don't know, Paul, do you want me to go on this, or how do you want to?
Well,
Let's attack the radon
I
first
think
and then move on.
it's important to be clear, we're doing the asbestos sampling to start to understand, you know, if we can put in our mitigation systems where we can do that, and then what's effective. So where the construction is, that's where the sampling is.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, that clears things up. So the asbestos is sampling as it relates to the mitigation to the radon only. You're not
Yes.
doing the complete.
So along those lines, Dunlow was done the floor tile, which we have to go through the tile.
Right.
We had to go through the ceiling tile,
Two, I think.
which was all mitigated. It was hot, as well as the floor tile was hot as well. well, but we did a bait while we drilled it. The tile actually came out in the hallways. And then they also tested roofing material, piping material, anything that we could disturb that was part of that project.
So in the overall scheme of asbestos, are we current with our testing? Like, have we done one since 21?
So testing is different than the AHIRA program.
The
Okay,
what program?
the AHIRA, it's, I forget what it stands for, but it's health. Every school district has to have an AHIRA plan. We do have that.
What's the abbreviation?
No, it's AHERA.
AHERA?
Yes.
Okay, we can find that. Okay.
And unfortunately, when I came here, the AHIRA plans were already in place, but there was not very much sampling done. So the AHIRA plan only covers what might be asbestos.
Okay.
Until we do a sampling, and we have splattered samplings throughout the district based on whatever our need was, okay? Once they do the sampling, that gets entered into the AHIRA book as a fact,
Okay.
if it's hot. If it's not hot, after 3 years, it can come off. Okay?
So where are we with that a little bit with our?
Again, we've done sampling in different projects in different schools, but not everything in the district has been sampled.
Okay.
But the AHIRA plan doesn't call for sampling, it just calls for what could be. And we have a book on every school.
But
Yes.
our asbestos plan, it has to be updated.
Every 3 years, we're supposed to do the
That
HERA.
has been done.
Okay, that's.
Yes,
that's what
we are current with all the inspections, not,
So we have
not
a,
sampling.
we have a folder, facilities folder on the G drive for the board members and for the facilities committee. The latest one that's in there is 2021. Do you think you can update that for us to the 2024? That would be right. The most recent would be 2024.
What did you call that again? The
You're talking about
facilities
board
plan for the board?
that we can see.
So this is the last one that's in there, this one here, and that's what he's talking about right there, see, the HERA. And that drive, oh my gosh.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, but I'm thinking our dates are off, because we just did a 3-year.
It probably wasn't updated on this.
This year, this one was done November 2021, it's the last one.
We're not saying that's the last time it was done. We're just saying.
Okay.
that's the
It's
last
not on the
thing we-
board drive.
That's all we can see.
So that's,
I'll show you after the meeting.
Okay.
Okay,
Paul, where all the information is in the, boardroom, or your boardroom over there, there is thumb drives for all that. It's all digital as well as paper.
So
And
you're
this just might be a
confident,
matter of putting it on the drive.
you're confident we've had one since 21.
Yes.
and I haven't looked at the drive, because the facilities committee hasn't met for a long time. I think we probably were at the last one, even maybe. Oh, I don't know.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while, that was a little while ago. So,
Okay.
Okay, as far as the asbestos sampling, are you guys okay with that?
yeah,
I
that,
understand.
Okay,
that,
the mold inspection, and mitigation of that we're still waiting on the inspection. It's actually happening tonight. It's actually happening right now.
It is.
So, based on that inspection, then we'll come up with a plan, and I'm sure Mr. Groove will share that with you guys. But the mold, came to us, reported to us from the principal, then we inspected it. I really, from myself, didn't see any mold, but that doesn't mean there isn't any. So we wanted somebody, a professional, to come in and do the inspection. But in the meantime, we went ahead and thoroughly had all the classrooms and all the areas in the portables disinfected, cleaned. We wiped down the walls, we wiped down all the tables, anything that's touchable. We cleaned out the vents. We took the vent register covers out, cleaned those and repainted them and put them back in. But we'll see what the inspector says today.
did you see any evidence of moisture getting in or
I
anything?
didn't see any.
Do we get, we kind of skipped over air quality, I think, but. do
Skipped
we
over
get
what?
Where's that?
Indoor air quality
Where is that?
3.
on the.
Oh, you're going, All right, I'm going by this, but I can go by this. That's right.
Oh, okay.
Oh, this was,
I was going by this, but we can do this.
I was too, I didn't.
Oh, I got
That's why I
All right,
didn't
we'll
see
take
it.
a pause on that.
No,
We'll
so-
go back to the end
Well,
there.
do we get regular indoor air quality reports from our HVAC vendor or in general?
We do not.
Do you think it would be helpful?
I mean, I don't think it's anything that is specified or that we have to do. I'm not sure what it would tell you, to be honest.
Okay.
Whether it would give you any more information or not.
What was the report you said, John? Like it's just an air quality control, air quality report. That we, sometimes that can be part of your maintenance contract with your HVAC vendors. I didn't know if we had any. So then, when you get a report of mold, are we able to ourselves determine like moisture content in a room and that kind of thing?
Not in-house.
Okay.
No, we do. I mean, obviously, like you said, we cleaned it all up, and then we go to Gandy, which is where we get air quality, which we have done some air qualities when we've had problems. But even tonight, the first thing he's going to do in those mods is once he does surface, he's got to do asbestos because he can't break open the walls until he finds out whether the material in the wall or that the wall's made up of has asbestos, because then it has to be abated.
Okay.
We have had roof problems there, so that could be part of the water, that's in the mod.
Yeah, 'cause, I mean, obviously, if we had a way of determining moisture, right, then that would help with the mold. If it takes moisture to make mold, if we have dry rooms, then that might help you answer your question. If you've got 10% and somebody thinks there's mold on chairs, then you're probably right in assuming it's not mold, because it takes a certain amount of humidity to create it.
Although we want to make sure.
Right. John, to your, one of the things you said is about our HVAC contractor. We are not in contract with any HVAC contractor. We have our own guy that
Okay,
handles all the buildings.
so HVAC is in-house. And when it comes to asbestos sampling inspection, any, I guess, remediation efforts, do you think it makes sense to have anyone on staff trained for that?
So all custodians are trained in the AHERA program,
Okay,
so they're all aware. I don't know how many years it's been now, since they had that, and we have a big, changing of people, but, they are all trained in it. There is, designated personnel as well. So, to your point, that's already in place. Each principal has their own book. If the public would want to go in and they would have a question, like they came from another school that had asbestos and was worried about their child, they could ask for that school their manual to see if we do have a program, which we do.
Yeah, so our policy says we should be testing that every 3 years and then doing periodic surveillance every 6 months. We should have, and that should be, like you said, at each school. I think one of the guidelines from the EPA said you should have that available just on your website too. It makes it easier, I would think, for them, for people, right?
Ty can probably answer this. I don't know when the audit was from the national EPA. We were audited, but Dave satisfied everything with them. And we added some statements to the website about the AHERA program.
Okay.
Correct?
I don't remember exactly, but I can find out.
Yeah, there should be something to that point on the website.
what I was getting at is like in minor abatement issues, would it make sense to have any of our staff trained?
So to do an abatement, that's a whole different issue. Part of your problem is not only in training the people, but it's the equipment. we're allowed, for instance, we just did, trying to think what school that was, Sedalia. We did a hot water tank switch, and some of the elbows were asbestos. They were in the plan. We called to see if they definitely were before we pulled anything out. They did the abatement. You're allowed so many square feet to do it bag, which is a very simple and not as costly as a pure abatement. And it allowed us to do the switch out a hot water tank. So again,
In-house.
we all but the testing and the removal of that.
Oh, we didn't, that's what I was getting at.
Yes,
We didn't do.
we did the hot water tank, but not the removal of that. Again, it's a slope, that's a slippery slope when you go.
So you don't think it would be a good idea to try to have anybody certified?
I don't think it would be cost effective because of the amount of equipment you would need and what little bit we actually have to do. All right.
So the other thing I noticed I just noticed it, is that the radon we should be tested every 5 years. Are we doing that?
I don't know of that,
Okay.
and
I don't know that
I
that's
don't-
a state requirement.
I don't think it is.
It's policy requirement.
Oh,
It's not a state, it's not a state requirement, it's our policy. And the asbestos, the ones that I read before were from the policy, no.
So
But the state does have some
you read
asbestos stuff.
asbestos every 3 years, radon every 5 years.
Yeah, every 3 years, and then evidence of surveillance within the past 6 months. So the way I see that is like 6 months.
Right. So
Right.
where was that from?
And then that's from our policy.
Which,
Oh, policy, EBCR?
And then again,
Echo, Bravo, Charlie, Romeo?
Yes.
Okay, and that is, does that cover,
Hyphen Romeo, yes.
does that cover both systems, radon and?
Both are in there, yes.
the asbestos is happening. The radon, I believe, I don't know
Our
if
state,
it was ever done.
I wasn't able to find anything that says our state does that. Other states are doing that, but our state is not one of them. So, but
But it's in our policy.
but it's in our policy.
Yeah.
So that's
Okay,
um,
that may be something.
for
you wanna
emergency
look at with
management.
them And see if we want to change it to less restrictive. I don't know if we want to change it to less restrictive or not, but you could at least let us know what you think.
But now you're aware of it.
Yeah.
Because these
Thank
are administrative type policies, these are no board government policies, that administration writes them, brings them to us, so maybe that will go to the policy committee to review. Yeah, yes, please.
That's picking up pretty well. Okay,
So we're back to, is that all with that, John?
we had compliance and communication update. Is that it?
Well, I don't know if you want to talk about the financial impact, or are we going back to this?
Oh, wait, mold, you were done with mold though, isn't that the
Well,
only place you had
I
it?
was telling you, we're getting our inspection done right now, so based on the inspection or the results, we might need to do more inspection or more testing. Then we're gonna come up with a plan, and I'm sure Mr. Groove will share that with you.
Yeah.
And then, the financial impact is that to pay for this is gonna come out of the general fund and capital improvement.
Capital improvement.
But we don't have any idea yet where we're at with any of that, right?
Adam's out,
cost.
so I haven't
Right,
had any.
Adam's out, and, it would be inappropriate for me to guess on this, because it could be less than Dunlow or more than Dunlow. Correct, Mr. Gordon?
Yeah, I think the systems will be very much the same because they're the same schools. But the asbestos test will show what we have to do, and that's where the variable comes in money wise.
And in addition to that is like, Dunlow had a couple rooms come back high, and we are having to add mitigation systems in there.
I just met with them as well today. We're not adding systems. We're going to add some more locations try and get more airflow under the slab in the gym. The systems are there. Most of the systems in the school itself down the hallway handle 4 or 5 classrooms, depending on size. The system that's handling the kitchen and the gym that's the only thing they're handling. So they think they can put more through the slab and still use the same system.
And that is, you're focusing on Ashbury, is that the one?
That's done.
Dunlop's the one,
Yes.
huh? We already did Ashbury.
No, Dunlop's the one we did. We
Okay,
still have 2 places that are high.
you mentioned Ashbury though, right? The
Asbury
23rd.
is high. That has to be done.
So that's definite, and then Madison's 4 to 6,
No.
and
Dunlop has-
Madison was about 20 also,
20,
Yes,
okay.
yeah.
And Sedalia was
about
4 to 6.
4
So,
to 8, 4 to 8 plus.
so are you gonna, Madison and Asbury you need to do definitely, and then are you gonna just retest on Sedalia after
Yes.
30
So,
days or whatever?
so again, I only have the draft,
Mhm.
so we can't retest until the actual comes back. And then once that's back, we'll retest. We do have the proposal for the asbestos at Sedalia because we know we're gonna have to put systems in. It won't be as extensive as the other 3, but we're starting the asbestos inspection there, sampling.
I thought you said Sedalia was 4 to 8. Is that the one we would wait on and retest since it's not above 8? I mean, it's at 8, but it's not above 8.
4 is the number we have to be below.
Right, but typically don't they say if it's under 8 that you would retest and then just come back to it?
Yes, but again, the ones that are above 8, retesting isn't gonna help. We can't get them below 4,
Okay,
okay? So we know we have to do a mitigation there.
okay,
So that's why we're going ahead and starting the asbestos sampling. We're hoping that some of the rooms that are close to 4 and low 5s, that retesting will get them below so that we don't have to mitigate those rooms.
so you're just doing the 8 as a definite and then the other one you're
Right.
retesting. Perfect,
Since we know we have a
Thanks for
system
clarifying
there,
yeah.
even though it's gonna be smaller, we're starting the asbestos.
and we're also under clock because after a certain date, depending on the temperature, we won't be able to do these tests, correct?
That is correct.
Yeah,
The end of
March is the end
end
of
of
your
March,
testing zone,
yes.
right? Yeah.
And we have in place already POs to start the asbestos testing in both Madison and Asbury, because we know we have to do that. And we need that to see how many places we have and what's hot in order to give a price for mitigation.
Right,
So those are already in place.
so, that's great stuff.
So what kind of asbestos do we have in the older elementary schools? Is it just mainly flooring and?
Well, with flooring comes mastic, rubber base. You also have, most of the piping for domestic water. Also, we had chiller systems in them, nested units in the classrooms, all that water piping. And it's typically it's not the piping, it's just the elbows.
Right.
And then you have ceiling tile, you have roofing materials.
So we have ceiling tile in those schools that have asbestos in them,
Dunlop's was hot, yes, sir,
meaning that the tile was made with asbestos?
correct. And that was some of the original tile.
Yeah, we did have one test in that folder that I was telling you about, one of the schools where they tested all the floor. I think it was me. Yeah.
Now, we tested the ceiling at Central, because we had a complaint, and
I'm pretty sure it was done though. Let me see if I can pull that up.
to my knowledge, it wasn't hot.
Done though, they found whatever, which school was there.
Dunlop's floor tile is hot. So is the mastic,
You might not have been done by then, huh?
but they did not test the base because we didn't have to go through the base.
Hmm.
We only tested where we were going to disturb, trying to keep the price down.
And over time, I'm sure we're replacing the ceiling. Are they just, are they
Asbury,
2x4?
Or 2x4, and we did replace everything in the hallways. That was all evaded,
Yeah.
That was
and that's all
added.
replaced now.
There was
And
no-
the hero books will be updated accordingly.
So
When was that?
Hmm?
When was that?
that was done in 2022. Bulk assessment analysis, and it was done at, I'm pretty sure it was just with Asbury, and that was the only place it was done.
The tile,
Mhm.
yes, that was 9x9 tile in the gymnasium at Asbury.
Yeah.
And we took it up, it was not, asbestos.
Yeah.
It was 9x9 tile, never seen 9x9 not be, but it was not. It was definitely, that has a whole new floor.
Yeah. The music room too, they tested the music room. They tested a lot of locations there. Well, maybe not, wait a minute, no.
Nasty.
Correction, massive. Not missing.
Okay.
Anyhow, that was another one that's in that folder. It's on the G drive. It got some other stuff in there. I didn't look at all of it. So. Anything else, John?
Okay, so is there state law that, you were mentioning the levels, but what, when you say at 8 or at 10, we have to, what is that? What drives that?
So, my knowledge of this is schools have to be under 4.
That, but based on what? We don't have like Ohio law that specifies radon levels, right?
We do,
The EPA.
yes. And it has to be under 4. Houses are much higher.
Okay.
And we consulted with them when we discovered
Correct,
Dumbo.
yes. Because because they were so high. And in transparency, you know. So when I say 8, for instance, Glenn Denning's 2 rooms. Yeah, there was a couple that tested above 4. When we retested, it was 4.3 the first time, 3.6 the second time. So that's below when you average them. So then that's okay. We had 4.3 and went to 2.4 in the other room. That's 3.4 for an average. So then we don't have to test again, and we don't have to mitigate. Whereas Sedalia, when you have 2 rooms at 8.2 and 8.8, there's no way to retest and get them below 4. So we know that we have to mitigate in that building. The other 20 rooms are somewhere between 4, trying to find the lowest one, 4.3, and it looks like 6.9. So those, by retesting, we can get below 4 if we get a low enough reading the second time, which will cut out some of these rooms that we have to mitigate.
So there's no high law requirement requiring testing at all. And there is none. And so if you've had these schools in this condition for 30 years, and the majority of schools in Ohio don't test, I guess there's a lot that occurs to me. Why once we test, does it all of a sudden become an emergency, when I don't think logic would dictate that much has changed in those schools over the past 20, 30 years. Why is this? I know somebody complained about air quality, right? An employee or something. And that
Somebody
triggered
complained
this.
about radon specifically.
Yeah, radon doesn't have, from what my research has shown, probably something else. There might have been mold in there or something.
I believe
Those are
we had a
long-term
kindergarten
effects.
teacher resign
Hmm.
because of the radon.
Well, radon has no short-term health effects. Radon
Yeah.
radon is something that's like low-level cigarettes.
It takes a long time.
Yeah, so if I'm immediately ill and I've been working in the school for 5 years, that's not relevant to radon.
Right.
So I guess I guess I appreciate the importance and urgency of it, but at the same time, it's like, have we all tested our homes and we all live in fear of radon, but this all seems to be like, oh, now that we've done this testing, we all of a sudden are tripping over ourselves for immediate cure, when actually there's no law or anything. This is all just Ohio Department of Health standards. It's not anything that's required of us. And what's your feedback there? And there's a whole world of debate over low-level radon even hurting people, because there's maps of the United States that show low-dose radiation areas have lower concentrations of lung cancer than the rest. So,
Well, I don't know the whole medical thing behind it, but I would say that, at least from my standpoint, one thing is if somebody complains about it, then, you know, Jamie and Paul have always been, hey, we need to find out about this. Well, then once we had Dunlow tested, and actually we only tested the one room where she was at.
right.
But once it's high, you know, then we test the whole school. And of course, then Jamie's like, let's test all our buildings, because the union is gonna,
I understand what
you know, they're
happened.
gonna,
I understand, but I'm pointing at the logic of it.
well, here's the other thing. You have it in your board policy to do every 5 years.
says that. Also, but to John's point, like the Heartland, the New England Association says if it's an 8 or less, that, you know, you can follow up long-term tests like 90 days to get a better average. We're not going to be there in 90 days. It's not going to be heating in there. How old are the HVAC systems in these locations?
So you're
Is
saying,
something
yeah,
that should be updated possibly? Would that be a better option than,
well, here's the funny thing.
I don't know.
So you're saying that once the air conditioning kicks on, radon goes down?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that we only are allowed to test in the 6 months. That's a state law,
Why is that?
because the building's closed. So if you're in the summer and you have the windows open and you have doors that are running in and out, and the heating system isn't running, whether it's the air or nothing, you know, no heat or any of that, that's why they say you got to test at this time of the year. And the other thing that we did is when we tested over the weekend, so that the canisters didn't get disturbed, is we had to run the HVAC systems just like it was normal school day.
I got you.
That's part of the test.
Well, the other fun part of this is radon exposure is over time. So what you could be doing is taking, because we're only allowed, which doesn't make sense, we're only allowed to test in the summer. Well, in the winter, what if in the
October
summer?
through March?
Yeah, what if in the summer it's a 2? That changes everybody, all the kids,
Heating.
it changes the exposure. If the summer months have lower, then it averages out in exposure, is what they're doing. This is kind of how the radon people do sometimes. They come into your basement and they hit the radon kit in your basement without asking, do you live in your basement? Do you work in your basement? Well, if you're only doing laundry in your basement, you have 2 hours of exposure, not 10. So I guess if we're catching the worst of it and not understanding what the balance is, I don't know how we can understand radon exposure. I don't know. Okay, well,
Here's one thing that I'll just give that to you, Paul.
okay.
Here's another thing, that's why I have your information. These are what I've been reading, so
Well, I didn't want to get too in the weeds on that, but I did want to.
those are the things I was reading.
Thank you. Okay.
And I'll make copies and share this.
Yeah. it's probably not-
I'll just say that, you know, sometimes this makes people nervous. I definitely want families and kids to feel safe.
Yeah.
When they're coming to school.
We
I want our
actually made
staff
that
to feel
worse,
that.
but we actually made that worse if you think about it. Because now we're putting out that air quality isn't safe. Well, we never did for the last 20 years. So we've actually created alarm based on someone's concern that couldn't have possibly, honestly, had a basis in radon. Immediate illness. So I think we failed at that, because now we're putting out the public radon. And
Well, I would be curious when you talk financial impact, if we're talking about that, how the HVAC systems are in the building. Are they something that need to be updated? Is it something we have updated? Is there
you said
something?
he's looked at that, and it's costly to try to get air pressure up.
Well, I understand that's not what my question was. Updating new systems, is that something that we need? Is it something that is an emergency situation? Sometimes there's OFCC money for emergency situations. I don't think radon hits it, but we know it doesn't I checked. So, well, let's see, who's your money here? So, but I mean, just looking at that, is that something that system gonna need replaced anyhow in the next 2 years? And we're doing all this mitigation when actually, long-term, we should be looking at maybe something else, but I don't know what the
Jeff, can
age
you
of
get
those
us
systems.
the HVACs for each building and their age?
Ooh.
I mean, one of them.
I mean, we just did that, since I've been here, we did that upgrade with Dynamics.
Right.
Where all those UVAs went in and,
That was like.
It's just a thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know
It's
what
just-
that entails.
part of the problem is there's various systems in all these buildings. It's not like we have in this building where we have chillers outside.
Yeah.
And everything, goes through, it, there's air handlers, there's Nesbitt units, there's the UVAs, there's all these different systems that handle as best they could. Now, when you get to the high school, you've got a brand new, school, you've got brand new units that are taken care of one way. We don't have multiple ways of taking care of heat and cooling over there. So that presents a large problem if you're trying to introduce more fresh air. And I'm not sure that fresh air is even the answer, because fresh air obviously helps move the air in the building, but if you don't have a way to get out, that's what the mitigation does. It takes it from under the slab, takes the gas out through the building contained. It's just not let loose in the building, which, like in the summertime, we're just moving air with doors open and windows open and stuff like that. It helps. But
I don't know,
I don't think an HVAC overhaul and would help the radon situation at all. Do we need schools that need new units and stuff? Absolutely.
well, how do we measure that, just to be sure?
To measure what?
What you just said, because if you have a higher efficiency unit, then it is pulling in more outside air usually, right?
Not necessarily.
Depending on how they vented and what they have.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
So I guess, how do we know? Like, how do we?
Well, again, Dave had an engineer out, that was familiar with Dunlow, because that was the same company, engineering firm that put the new system in over there. And they were like, it can be done, it's not gonna be cheap, and you're not gonna be as efficient, because again, it's harder to heat or cool when you're allowing outside air to come in. Especially, think about a couple of weeks ago when we're heating air that's 50 degrees, and now all of a sudden we're gonna introduce more minus 20 degree air into the building. I mean, that building would have been cold for 3 weeks. So, cost wise, it's cheaper to mitigate. Get it out without allowing it in your building.
That's all I got. Anything else?
No,
Committee discussion?
Huh?
Committee discussion?
Yeah, we're down to that, yeah.
Okay. Go ahead, sir.
that's it. Yeah.
Well, as I mentioned, Michael Doolin was gonna participate. He's had a medical issue and couldn't be here. I'd also invited, Mr. Keltonborn, who has a security background, and, Keltonborn. He may come after work, which should be getting here in a little while. And just wanted to do introductions. Yeah, he's got a security background. And that was just by way of introductions, but I also wanted to ask the group, like, who do you think should be a good core, to the committee?
I hate to do this, but I think Mr. Coit should be on this committee.
You don't seem like you hate it. You seem like you could.
I mean, seriously, I'm so glad you came, Jeff. Thank you very much. And then our new business and operations director, whoever that might be.
Yeah, it's just, this is like, committee, we can go through this, we'll prepare a report off of the face what you guys said, you guys don't have to come to the, in the middle of the night meeting. The committee will
Yeah.
share that information with the board and
And I was thinking possibly, and
hopefully they'll speed things along.
maybe some business, city members, maybe, see if anybody from the city of Groveport,
Or township.
yeah. Township doesn't really have a construction department. I was thinking more along the line of facilities. They have roads crew, is all they have. They don't really have facilities, crew. Groveport and maybe that's anybody else.
Maybe, I'm sorry, what was that?
Like, if we wanted to invite any facilities, people from Groveport, or just reach out to Groveport Novets and see if they have any
Yeah, and they,
planning and zoning or any of that, people that might want to participate.
yeah, if you look at the, I don't have that. In front of me, but the committee structure, there's different times that different people would want to be there, because there's different things on it that the committee is charged with, so if the board asks us to go, I don't know, look at how the school mapping is, like the district lines or whatever, that would be part of the facilities committee to see. And of course, some of these guys would want to be there and some would, that would be, I think it all depends on what tasks we're tasked with at the moment. Paul asked to meet with a couple, so that's what we're here, and that way it can get done and be quick, so.
I just think it'd be good to have, I'd say, team members on deck.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
I just wanted to see if anybody had any specifics. Mr. Kreutz, here's, and,
Yes, and
and then we'll wait to see what happens with the business and ops director.
The only thing else I would add is if, depending again to your point about what we're actually discussing, is it the maintenance supervisor, John Moten, or if it's HVAC, it would be our HVAC guy, Rick Clark.
John used to come to the committee
Yeah,
meetings before, yeah.
What was the second one?
Rick Clark,
I don't know if I've met.
he's when Dynamics finished that job, with the new HVAC and all that kind of stuff, they tried to give us a beyond contract, and it was up there.
Right.
And Larry Rickey was the
Yeah.
business manager at the time. He hired Rick. So,
I'm sorry, this is off subject.
I would say that once we, talk or whatever and say, hey, the facility committee needs to look at these things, then you guys will decide, because you know who's best to be there, right? Don't want to waste anybody's time. The whole point of it is to try to make things quicker and more efficient.
I haven't heard.
So you guys will.
I don't hear much about it.
Yeah, depending on the task. Like you said, depending on the task.
He was right on the road.
Depending on, yeah, absolutely. I
Novets,
mean,
Yeah.
the whole goal is to make things go quicker and smoother, not have to be.
Do we have an electrician, more or less, somebody that leads that?
No, not really. We kind of all do a little bit of everything on that, but when we get into the real big, whether it's, voltage or problems or whatever, Rick actually takes the lead on that as well.
Okay.
Rick's very knowledgeable.
Any other committee discussions? Is there anything specifically you want us to bring up with the board when we make our report?
Yeah, we had a place for recommendations, so do you have anything that you want us to bring forward to the board? I would say the one recommendation is that we take a look with the administration of the policy EBC-R, and we are doing a board retreat on policy, so we could at least bring that one up. And you guys can have a look and see if you want to make it more forgiving or more in line with what you guys do. I don't know what you want there.
I just think by the time, not tomorrow, but the next board meeting, we'll have a better outline of where we are with these schools and some ideas for proposals for the board to decide what we're doing next with both radon, and we'll get the results of the model inspection. Might not even be model.
So, under recommendations, what, copy, what should we prepare for, direction? Do we wanna seek direction from the board on anything?
Well, I don't think we have any direction right now that I need their, still testing, they're waiting for test results.
I'm not talking about this, I'm talking about, so we have another facilities meeting, right? What do we want?
Oh.
Are we wanting?
Do you have,
we wanna
consistent
get-
dates for these?
No, we haven't set up any dates. We could do that, set up times and dates or whatever.
I would like the policy that John just mentioned, maybe set consistent dates on if this committee meets monthly. But it could be as needed.
Yeah, I think right now it's probably gonna be easy pretty quickly since we're looking at different, facilities type stuff. But if you guys were meeting and it was your ideal time, would it be like in the afternoon, like a lunch meeting? Or in the
Well,
4
there's
o'clock,
a,
5 like this? What would your,
if you meet at 4 PM, it's gonna accommodate the people that are actually working here, but it doesn't accommodate the people that don't work here.
well, we're looking at this. to
Like
accommodate the
Eric,
people who-
Eric and Mike do not work here.
Right,
So Eric getting off work and being here for a committee meeting. and-
4 o'clock is, that's specifically why we kind of pick that time so that they can come after.
Or if we get a city admin or a city employee. So I'm not sure. And there's a lot of key people that aren't here to maybe make a,
Why don't we
determination
just,
on
why
that.
don't we just make it the same time next month, and then when we have more bodies in the room, we'll make it more conducive. Does that make sense? So whatever this is the third Monday, fourth Monday, whatever it is, let's just do another one a month from now. And then once we have more people in, we can see what, if they have a different time.
The 4th Monday,
Why don't we do the fourth Monday?
that would be,
Yeah.
the 4th
March
Monday,
23rd.
23rd. And then if there's anything, we don't have to set
Something
the
pressing
agenda
comes up,
yet.
yeah.
Paul, if you had things you think we should be looking at, you saw the policy, I mean, the language of the committee structure, what the committee was supposed to be doing, that was done back in 22, I think, or 21.
So
So look at that. and
it's a
say, hey,
special meeting, so if something urgent comes up, or if we need to move it, we can do that.
Good, we're under an hour.
You guys have anything that you want us to put on? That you would like us to talk about?
Oh.
Going forward?
Yeah, because we're gonna, what I'll do is I'll summarize what we talked about and put together a little report. Is that good?
Yep.
Agree with that? And then just say, hey, this is what we did, have it attached to the meeting agenda maybe, and all the board members can see it, and then hopefully they don't have too many questions during the meeting.
Yeah, and if we got an open agenda, you could ask for a request for agenda items.
Yeah.
Do you all have?
But
anything
once the
you want to
agenda
talk
is
about?
out, because it's a special meeting,
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
you can't change it. So you want to, like, have committee discussion, allows you to, discuss certain things that might be a little bit, more.
Well, open, keep it a little open.
So, because you cannot change a special meeting once it's been put out, a 24-hour period. So, I mean, you should have everything you want though,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. Anything else?
That's it.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Fine.
Alright, and we're done. Thank you.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I hope I didn't like, step on toes or anything.
Yeah, I'll talk to you about that later.
I know. I was like, I hope I didn't step on his foot. I just thought it was the best way to do it. Oh, he wants to meet with a couple people. Let's
Well,
just
with-
put it together.
I
And I don't
basically was
make-
gonna talk to you and the vice president and kind of tell you what's happening. Filling in for Jamie, and then if you wanted to have this committee or something like that, I was good with it, but it was like all short notice.
Paul, do you wanna cut that off?
Oh.
Or
I don't know. Does it turn off over there?
I don't really know. You know me and
I don't know how it turns off.
Where'd Ty go? His time is.
I know how to kill this part of it.
Unplug it. Just shut it.
We kill the money.
Well, the goal